So when it comes to cooking most things, I'm not too particular about exact temperatures. I use finger pressure. If I've got a steak, I'm going to push down on it, and I'm going to know what rare, medium rare, or well done, or actually overcooked feels like. For other people, they want to know the exact temperature of the things they're cooking. If you haven't heard of sous vide cooking, you're going to. I picked up this Anova sous vide machine here, and I call it a machine for lack of any other word. This is the Anova Precision Cooker. Now, I'll show you shortly how this deal works, but with this, you're going to cook your fish, game, vegetables, anything in a water bath. In a sealed plastic container, I'm going to use a food saver bag in a water bath. And I'm telling you, I've had people tell me that their goose breasts, their lesser, tougher pieces of meat, like a goose breast, for instance, a Canada goose breast, is not one of your better pieces of meat. A buddy of mine, Gavin, has told me that it absolutely 100% is the only way he'll ever cook a goose breast. You don't need any special equipment other than the sous vide. And you can actually put it in just a zipper lock bag and hang it off the top of your little sous vide deal, whatever you happen to make. This works better. I've got a food saver bag. I've seasoned this venison eye of round. The eye of round looks like a piece of meat that should be very tender, but it's not all that tender. I've seasoned it with a High Mountain venison rub. I have some compound butter. This is a rosemary garlic Zinfandel compound butter. I've taken Zinfandel wine, reduced it down, mixed it with some garlic and some fresh rosemary that was softened, let it cool, wrap it up in plastic wrap or wax paper, and I'm just going to throw a few of these in here and seal it up. And the seal doesn't have to be tight, but you'll see. That's good enough. And what's going to happen is this butter is going to melt as this cooks in the water bath that I've got an Orion cooler and this little Anova precision cooker. Now, right here, this tells me what the temperature of the water is. I have an adjustment that I can use. I'm going to set this at 125 degrees. Now, let me explain just for a second how this whole process works. This is going to sit in this water bath in these food saver bags, sealed containers, and it's never going to get any hotter than 125 degrees. Now, what you lose with this is the searing on the outside. I like my fish and game and any kind of protein to have a nice crust on the outside. Into the water bath. There is a little propeller type deal in there. What this does is it circulates water. So it circulates the water. If there's ever a temperature variation inside this heating element that's in this metal part, that will control the exact temperature of this water at all times. Once it gets to 125 degrees, it never goes beyond 125 degrees. All right, look at that. It's tender. This is an otherwise tough eye of round. It's going in that skillet because one thing that the sous vide doesn't do is sear the meat. I want to get it good and crusty on the outside, which is, you know, this is perfectly tender. Normally, even though the eye of round looks like it would be a tender piece of meat, it's usually a little chewy. I rarely eat food on TV because I find it annoying to watch people eat, but wow, that's like butter.